After building my clientele for over 10 years, I decided to move to a different city in a whole other state. Follow along as I rebuild my clientele and start from scratch. Rough start, let's go to work. Well, that wasn't part of the plan, but sometimes that's how life goes. But we gotta keep moving on. Let's go to work. You might be asking, why did I move? Why would you leave pretty comfortable life in the city you're raised in with all your friends, family, and I had a pretty booked out schedule, a week, sometimes 2 weeks in advance, and I had it good, man. Like, I was booked and I had it good, and over 10 years, so building up clientele, I was doing pretty good. I had my barber suite, worked in like 3 other shops before that, building up, and until I felt comfortable enough to do my own thing at the my own barber suite, and it was awesome. It was fun, and I had a really good time. I really enjoyed getting to know my clients, being in a private setting and stuff like that. So that was an awesome experience. Now I have to start over, and I could come up with a lot of reasons why I moved, but even though there are some truths to those reasons, like cheaper living, wanting to start a family in a good environment, in a safe environment, and I could have, there's truth to everything, right? But the one and main reason, and it's as simple as this, was because God told me. Now, I don't really share a lot of my faith on here because just a social pressure, I guess. I don't know. Like, the way the world is working now, it seems like if you're a Christian or you believe in God, like, everybody's against you. And I think it's unfair that everybody else could share how they are, who they are. They could, come up with different pronouns and whatever you guys want to do, whatever people do, I don't know. But as Christians, like, it almost like feels like we have to stay quiet. But in reality, like, if you know the truth, you know that God has set you free, that Jesus came down, let himself be killed, and he resurrected, defeated death, so that you could live, so that you could have freedom. And not freedom like for you to do whatever you want, but freedom in the sense of from sin. Freedom from sin. We're no longer bound by sin. We're no longer bound by that we were condemned to, but we are free from that. And that is a beautiful thing, and it's just awesome. So I usually never share my faith, but the reason me and my wife moved here was because we feel like God was calling us to move to this particular state. Now, I'm not mentioning any states or anything like that just for safety, but we feel like God had called us here to this state. We didn't know why at first, and we had a little bit of backlash. Some people questioned us, questioned why, questioned if we were even hearing right from the Lord. And even I started questioning, why was I moving? Why was I doing all this if I was comfortable? And digging into the Bible, I realized that Abraham didn't know where he was going. He was called by God to leave his land, to leave where his family was. And he wandered the desert for a long time, not really knowing what God had really planned. He knew that he heard God's voice, and he just went. So I took that, packed everything up, put it in my little Kia Soul, and hauled the trailer, which is hilarious, and moved. And we decided to move because you just have to trust in him. And God just wanted us to trust in him. I've been here about 4 months already, about to be 5, and it hasn't been easy. It's been pretty difficult. Now, before we left Orlando, we decided to, I was looking at barbershops in the area, and God kept having this barbershop. Like, it was like a bright light on it, and I didn't know why, but I was like, that's the shop I feel like God wants me to go to. Now, when I texted and called and did all my due diligence to talk to the owner, and we went back and forth a little bit, but I didn't get a definite, like, yes, I got the spot for you or anything like that. It's a busy barbershop, and I get that. So I was like, I'll just go and meet him when I get there. So that's what I did, and unfortunately there wasn't any spots at the time, and I had to put my trust in God again. And I was like, well, I got money saved up, but it's not a lot, and I need to start working soon. So I decided to go to another barbershop, and that barbershop was a walk-in shop, and that's what I'm used to. Or not a walk-in shop, a booth rental shop, and that's what I'm used to. In Florida, in Orlando, that's mostly all there is booth rental, and that's it. There's no commission, there's no anything else. So that's what I'm used to, and that's what I did. And it reminded me of when I started like over 10 years ago, and where I had to like sit down, wait for people to come in. In Florida, we have like a system where if you're first, you get the first walk in, and then it kind of rotates throughout the day. But I quickly found out that the barbershop I started at, even though the owner was great, he was Christian, and he was really cool, the other barbers weren't as cool, and they were selfish. And, they would jump on every walk-in that would come in, knowing that I'm new to the area. They've been barbers for like a few years, so I figured like they should have their clientele, but it wasn't the case. And that's kind of the issue with the barbers nowadays. They want to come in whenever they want, they want to go whenever they want, and they don't really build up a really good base of clientele, and I knew that. So I was the first one in, last one out. I started building clientele. I went on Facebook, made a post on Facebook, made a post on the neighborhood apps and stuff like that, just to get like some movement, and it worked. Some people started coming to me, and it was awesome. Not a lot, but like I saw that I could build clientele, but it's gonna take a long time. And there were days where I would cut just one and sometimes 0. And I would come home, and my wife saw me that I was a little, down. And she was like, God bless her soul, man. She really held me down, and made me realize that God does have our back. I mean, if you know my story, I have a video. It's like my first video on this channel where I talk about an incident where I was a victim of a crime. I got shot 3 times. And you can watch that video. It's the first video. I might put it in the description down below. But yeah, I got shot 3 times at a barbershop where I was working at in Florida, and I'm survived thanks to the Lord. I'm okay. Like, it's a miracle that I survived. I got shot 3 times, so people get shot 1 time and die. So I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very grateful for what God did with me, and the miracle that he has, that he gave me. He gave me another chance in life, and I'm so grateful for that. And that day has changed me for the rest of my life. But she made me realize that if God could get us through that, and through those financial difficulties, then I could go through anything. So why am I down when God had my back when I was on my lowest? I could walk, I could talk, and I could maneuver and do things. I have the ability to actually work, and when before I couldn't, and God still supplied for me. I say all this because I want to give hope to people. I want to make sure that people feel hopeful, that even though they're in the worst moments, that God is there. Being a Christian doesn't automatically mean that life is going to be easy. It just means that when you go through your struggles, you know that the Lord of Lords and King of Kings is there for you. You know that the God Almighty that knows every little thing about you is there for you. That's what it's about. God opened the doors, and in my moment of prayer, the shop owner of the first shop I wanted to go to, that God had highlighted for me from Orlando, messaged me on IG and had a spot open. And I couldn't believe it. And I just jumped on that opportunity because I knew that God wanted me there originally. You know, God has plans for us. And it's either His will, but He also has permissible will, where His perfect will is what He really wants and what's best for you. But He will allow you to do other things because you have your own will. God would allow you to do things, and you learn from stuff like that. So I've been in this shop, and this shop is actually a commission shop. And I know there's a lot of controversies around commission versus booth rentals and stuff like that. And I didn't really understand why God wanted me to come to a shop that was commission, because I would have thought, like, man, like, He's going to keep like half the money that I make. It's not going to be good. Like, I didn't understand, but I had put my faith in God. And I quickly realized that being in a commission shop, that I don't have to worry so much about trying to get people in the shop, because the owner is the one that does it. And this owner, he is great at that. He has marketed this shop to a certain level where the shop is number one in this area. The barber shop is super clean. All the barbers clean the barber shop. Everybody's friendly. It's a family oriented. The music, it's not like just hip hop and rap and having messed up videos on the TV with, like, you know, twerking or anything like that, because that's not even good for a barbershop. Like, I mean, there's hood barbershops and they do that, and that's what you want to do, then by all means do whatever you want. But I wanted to be in a professional environment, and that's what I got as soon as I made it. And when he explained to me how everything was going to work with this commission, I was like, wow, I didn't even know you could make money like this. I didn't know that it was, like, more secure, and that he puts all the pressure on himself. So that's why you're going to pay a little bit more. But honestly, like, my second week here, I started making a good amount of money, enough to survive, enough that, like, I felt like God was with me and blessed me enough that, you know, it's been great. Now, there's slow days and then there's days that I'm super booked, but it's been great. And I just want you guys to follow my journey, follow how I started from zero practically. Now I'm starting to have a little bit of clientele, a little bit of follow back, and I'm just going to go once a week. I'm just going to give you an update of what's going on in the barbershop and how I've been managing to move on and build clientele. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you like content like this, please subscribe and follow along for the next episode. And more reviews of clippers and other barber items are going to come out soon too. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.